Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another fantastic day on planet Earth. I need to preface this video because I've had to make it over many different places, many different days and everything else to try and fully explain the way that family dynamics work over here. And it is something that is very, very important that you learn before you get into any entire relationship. It's something that you won't change. It's something that you have to accept. Over here, it's all about accept and reject. If you accept the family, you accept what goes on, then that's fine. But if you reject it, then it's not fine at all and it won't work. So I'm going to get into this video. You're going to see different clothes, different places and everything else. But bear with me, because at the end of it, hopefully you'll fully understand the way things work. Right. When you get into a relationship, you've got to understand that your future wife, if you want to put it like that, your future wife has actually got a family. Not only their direct bloodline sort of family, they've got an extended family. Now, the extended family will always come first. The job rate over here is pretty low. You know, you do whatever makes money. You know, selling knives, selling food, selling absolutely anything you can get your bloody hands on, basically, that anybody wants. And you've got to do that job. You've got to do something to earn some money, because if you don't earn the money, so you've got your mum and dad, you've got your brother and a sister, you know, the bloodline ones. But the indirect family are the people, the brothers and sisters as they call them, the mum and dad. They might have about 10 or 15 mum and dads. You never know. You don't know how far the families actually go until you get into the relationship. You might sometimes come below the dog. It depends what sort of relationship you're in. It depends what sort of a woman she is. It depends how understanding she is. But then again, you as a farang will become part of their extended family. I always go through entire life now as an accept or reject. You have to accept it. You have to accept the family, and you have to be accepted into the family. If you reject anything about it, forget it. The relationship will not work. It's nothing like any Western sort of a family. It is the family that will help no matter what. And your girlfriend, your future wife, whatever, she will help them no matter what. If she's got a bit of money, she'll give it to them. If they need it, she'll give it to them. I'm going to give you an example about families, right? I was sitting there, it was 4:30 yesterday, Saturday afternoon. I was sitting there, it was 4:30, and she suddenly stood up and said, I've got to go and see my sister. What? And she was out the door with her son, I'm not joking, within 2 minutes, and in the car, and off they went. 11 o'clock we went to bed, and she just lay there with my hand against her face, quite lovingly, you know, and that's how she went to sleep. The community, when you start getting into the community and start looking at these things, you see them in a completely different light. You don't just see them as beauty, you see them as something spiritual, and you start... I'm not saying I'm going to become a Buddhist, but I might do. But when you start looking at these things, you see them in a completely different light. The size of that wasp's nest. You know, these places, if you walk up to them and say "Nam," they'll give you water. I've got no doubt about it. Inside the crowd, if you imagine family's a sort of a spiritual thing, I think you're sort of halfway there, but you've got to deeply understand it. You can't accept anything here as a sort of a top level thing. You have to go to level 4 before you can actually understand it. If your missus gets up at bloody midnight and pisses off somewhere, it don't mean to say that she's cheating on you. It's something that you have to accept. It's their family. You have to understand it. To accept it, you have to understand it. I've got a Thai family, and I feel honoured to be part of that family. I've got to redo this in places because it's not to my standard. I have places like this where it's come off. That's a flex point, and I don't know why. I warn you now, being in a Thai relationship is not easy to start with. It's very, very hard to accept things. I can't quite explain the things that you're going to go through, because obviously every relationship is completely different. You have to sit and you have to think about the family, the family community that you are now part of. So you have to help the family whenever you can. If they call on you for help, basically you have to help. I'm generalising here, and I'm talking about my missus. Not in particular anyway, but Thai people seem to treat the Falang as a person of great importance but no importance. It's quite strange to get your head round, and you have to accept it. You have to accept that one morning they might wake up and say, hello, you're taking my son to school today. Am I? Yes, we arranged it last night. Well, you didn't tell me. But what they mean is that last night it was arranged with the family, but they didn't they didn't tell you. You know, a Western relationship, you get into a relationship with a woman and then she says, oh, do you want to go out somewhere? And you say, no, I don't want to go out there, and you won't go out. Well, be prepared for when you get that question. If you say no, she'll go, and she probably won't say goodbye to you. She'll just go out the door. I've not had that happen, but I know people who have had that happen, and it took me a long time. I'm talking weeks to understand it. But I had to sit down and I had to understand the family dynamics, and I had to understand how things work, and I had to understand why it is like it is. And it is like it is because you are just a temporary fixture, basically. You will not be there forever. And when you go, they're going to rely on the family again. They're going to need the family. So this is why they remain so close. And I can fully understand it and appreciate it. The family has helped them more than you ever could. You're just there as a companion. You are there as a stick, a stick that they like. And they just want that stick next to them all the time. Now, with the Western families like mine, I know my mum and dad are there. But will they help me if I'm in trouble? I don't think they could, because you're taught to stand on your own 2 feet, and you're basically a loner. I'm in this country and I'm alone. If you meet a true Islam woman like my missus is, she's an Islam woman, she's not after all the money. I try to give her, when at the end of the month when I've got a few quid left over, I try to give it to her and she won't accept it. She just walks off. As a Westerner, I understand it. I fully get it. I understand it. I understand the Thai culture, I understand the family dynamics and the importance of them, but trying to explain it is something very, very hard. We'll say that you're in the UK at the minute, or in America, or wherever, and then you go on to Thai Friendly or any of the dating websites and you meet a Thai woman. She's the best thing since sliced bread, and then you say to her that, you've got no money, you've got an income, but you've actually got no money. You've got nothing you can actually give them. Like my missus, for instance, people are going to look at her and think, she's good looking and yeah, she's 10 years younger than me. But you're going to look at it and think, well, she's after something because she looks good. She likes to look good. It can be very frustrating when they suddenly disappear and you say, where have you gone? Oh, I've just had to run an errand. That sort of thing will happen. I've got a lot of respect for her, for my missus' family. I know I call her the missus, but you know it's easier than the girlfriend or the woman or whatever else. I call her the missus. I know people aren't going to agree with that, but tough shit. Get used to it. It's the only sort of an association or analogy that I can actually come up with. But if you imagine families in the UK, the way that it works is you're born, your mother and father look after you until you're old enough to leave the nest, and then you go and you make friends, and friends help you. Friends do things for you. Friends are sometimes a life thing. So you go through life with friends. Now, if you imagine that those friends are family and that you'd do anything for them to help them out in any situation, don't ever take any notice of any person and say, well, they're just after money. They're playing the long game. No, they're not. No, they want relationships. The same as anybody else. You've got to understand that you're there for a reason. You're there for a purpose. The same as she's in your relationship for a purpose, in your life for a purpose. You want the companionship, you want the warmth, you want the love and the affection that a woman can give you. Now you've got your family, and if anything happens to your family, 99% of the time, 99 percent of people who've left the family, they will be there for the family, and she will fully understand that. So you've got to understand that she would do anything for her family. Like I've explained, her family is an extended family. Now they are there for the moral support, the financial support, and absolutely everything that they need in life. You can't give them if you haven't got money. To be a walking ATM, if you've got the money, then you know, bloody give it to them, and they will love you for it if they don't have to work. But their family will come first. And the reasoning is, you're not going to be there forever. So unless, and there's even extended situations that I know about where a man has said, when I die, you're going to have everything. But even that is not a 100% security. Unless you build a house on their land and it's their property and everything else, then they've got no 100% security. So that's why they'll say, well, build the house on my mum's land or my land or this, that and the other. Financially, I can't give my woman any security in that sort of respect. But what I do give her is the incentive. I give her the moral support going outside of what you would normally do. When I've gone, okay, she might get the electric motorcycle, she might get my ADV, she might get this, that and the other, all my personal belongings, which aren't really worth a lot, but that's all she'll get. And that is money for today and tomorrow, but what happens next week? So in that respect, I can't give her any security. But what I can give her is the motivation, the inspiration and everything else to secure her own future. So if they've got 5 baht, they'll give 5 baht to the family. If they need 5 baht, the family will supply them with 5 baht. The family will never see them homeless. The family will never see them without any money. The family will make sure that they're always looked after, and they're expected to do it in return. It's nothing like a Western family where you leave the nest and that's the end of it, and then the parents basically survive on their own. And obviously the siblings, or the children, they survive on their own. It's not like that over here. It's nothing like that whatsoever. So I accept it. I didn't at first, I must admit. I was just the normal person, the average person who didn't understand why she kept going out and doing all these things for her so-called family, who aren't blood relative. When blokes complain and they said, I married you, not your family. No, you didn't. You're in this for her, for her family, and everything else. It all comes as a complete package. I saw one video where this bloke, he was living with a woman in a condo. She loved the condo. It was quite a big condo actually. I think he was paying about 20 grand a month for it. And he had the opportunity to buy it. All the sale and everything else went through. And he went home and she came home and he was waving the keys at her. And she said, "What's that for?" And he said, "Well, I've bought the place." He paid cash for it, he bought it. And she said immediately, "Whose name is it in?" And he said, "It's in my name." You know, she smacked him in the face and she walked out. That is a true story, apparently. And I can see why it happens. I can fully appreciate. I don't agree with it because I'm a Westerner, but I can fully appreciate how it does happen. So, because that's her security in life, that's her future. So, before you get into a relationship, and I will talk about all the other things that happen, before you get into a relationship with a Thai woman, you've got to understand the family dynamics and you have to appreciate it. I've had to learn about the culture pretty bloody quickly to make this work. And now I wouldn't do without her. And I appreciate the family more, and I'd do anything for the family. I can offer my skills and my ability to do anything for them. You know, if the motorbike breaks down, I'll go and bloody fix it. And that's the way that they work is, oh, I've got a member of the family who's a mechanic. I'll go there and I'll do it for nothing. I don't mind. As long as I've got the parts or I can do it, you know, I'll do it. And that's the way that they work, is the family is always there for them. Hopefully I've explained it in a way that you can understand and you can appreciate. You're there for now. The family is there for when you've gone.
Should you really be eating while you're doing that?
Yeah,